Glory to Jesus Christ. Very interesting gospel which we just heard. And maybe with connection with the baptism, we can think about one part, maybe this note about the lady. Christ said that she was possessed. She was under torture of unclean spirit which made her physically sick. And we can have this question in our mind that, all right, but probably this is not the case now, especially when those who are here early, when each person who is baptized before baptism went through this rite of exorcism, when all these unclean spirits were expelled from the soul, and then baptism, which makes you really son or daughter of God. So probably we can say, logically, you are not anymore under the rule of demons. But we all experience their activity. And we can ask, why is that those unclean spirits still have some kind of power in our life, even we received baptism, exorcism, chrismation, we are receiving Eucharist. How it is possible that they still somehow act in our lives and they have some kind of power? And we have to realize that there are some spiritual truths we should never forget. Everything what happens comes with God's permission. If there is activity and temptation coming from evil spirit in our life in form of temptations, or in the way like some kind of difficulty in body through sickness, we have to realize it was allowed by God. And if God allows something, He doesn't allow it for fun to torture us. Always when He allows something even unpleasant in our life, has one meaning or intention: to lead us, to bring us, to guide us towards salvation of our souls. Sometimes, if there is a need to conquer some kind of our passions, difficulties, way of life, how we live, and we are not eager to do this, God can allow this torture. Maybe come to senses and we start to work a little bit. Or if we are neglecting our spiritual life, we don't take it seriously, we love more than our God and our soul, for sure God allows moments which can bring suffering and trials to our life in order to bring us to understanding what is important, what we are supposed to do. And sometimes, for sure, it is in the form of thoughts, provocations, which push us to make bad decisions. Sometimes it is acting of our relatives, friends, people and us who act in annoying form to test us or to bring us to sin. And sometimes our invisible enemies work through our body. They cause difficulties, weakness, sickness. This was in the case of that lady. The demon kept her unwell. But what she teaches us is a very important thing. She is persistent. She had this bodily problem caused by demon. Bodily problem which probably would give excuse to many others not to come to synagogue and to pray. If maybe this problem have other people, they would probably curse God for this sickness. But she was coming for years to synagogue, and this place where God found her and healed her. And in this we can find some kind of tool how to fight with these enemy powers. Especially in this case, when we feel some kind of physical fatigue. And we do this. Now, our mind is really like turned that, okay, I experienced something, so I run to see a doctor. Or I check on the internet what pill I should take. And we forget to try to discern and to see many times those spiritual difficulties which are caused by demons. There is a very good story from this monastic environment. One monk got sick. Nobody knew what was with him. He was just weak, not able to almost walk, headache, and he was laying in the bed, not able to move almost. And so he was spending in the bed several days, and nobody could help him. Nobody knew what is going on with him. And one morning, he was really suffering in the bed, and he heard from chapel, which was somewhere downstairs, the singing of other monks, his brothers. They were singing like matins or whatever it was. And he said, "You poor, you are so sick that you cannot be with them and to pray to God." And then he told himself, "I am so sick that I might die today." And then he told himself, "If I'm going to die, I am not going to die in my bed." And he gathered all strength which was left, and more like not walking, just pushing himself with pain to the chapel. He came to the chapel, and in the back, he stayed in the back, and he started to sing hymns with other monks. After a few moments, he was able to stand up and to sing all this service with other monks. He was healed. Then he shared it with his spiritual father, and his spiritual father told him, "You still don't understand. You conquered evil one who wanted to force you to stay in the bed instead of praying." This is a very powerful story which works. And I could bring you, I will tell you many stories told by priests who said the same thing. The time of liturgy is coming, and they are so sick, many of them, that they say, I will be not able to serve the liturgy because probably I can have stroke or heart attack. They feel so bad. And then once they start to serve liturgy, everything's gone. You probably have this experience too, when you force yourself in a time of fatigue to do what you are supposed to do in spiritual life. How often you got relief. But often something personal. This is something what repeats almost all the time. You know that we have these vigils on Saturdays. It's from 8 to whatever time it is. And true is that sometimes, many times, I feel so fatigued in my body, headache, really forcing myself with really like all strength to come to the church. More fatigue I experience, more pain bodily, more people come for confession that evening. And this fatigue is gone with first confession. It works. Now, don't take me wrong, I don't want you to look at each sickness through these lenses. We have to make really good discernment. Flu is flu, so you have to get this for healing 7 days. Some sicknesses are really good to give to physicians to work with that and give us good pills, which was invented through wisdom God gave to people. But when we experience some kind of like this strange fatigue, when we experience something that, pain, weakness, and we really cannot point what's the source, try to discern this thought. Isn't this fatigue try to prevent me or to make obstacle to my prayer or my attendance of church on Sunday or the week? Isn't this fatigue tries to block me for doing my prayer rule? Is not this fatigue causes that I am making my other ascetical rules easier, or I'm skipping there? Isn't it the problem that very often happens, what I hear is that like spiritual reading is very important, we should do it every day. And many people, they tell me that, when time comes for spiritual reading, I feel so weak, I'm yawning, and I want to sleep, and my head is going down. But once I start to read, it's gone. Let's try to watch what is going on in your life. Let's try to become wise and to uncover these tricks of our enemy. Let's try to be vigilant. May their activity doesn't trick us. If we know about their tactic, we know how to defeat it. And look, they will try to do this. They will try to attack us, to trick us. But if we make ourselves more attentive to their activity, these are attentiveness, and these are vigilance, and these are persistence, transforms our spiritual life in a beautiful way, which will help us to resist even other passions other temptations. If God allows that, I would say in general way, He wants us to train this ability to be wise, to see activity of our enemy, to make decision, to find strength to stand against this activity. He is training us because who knows what kind of war is in front of us. Spiritual life is not romantic walk in rose and garden. If you try to live that, you live according not God's instructions, but you live according devil's instructions. Spiritual life is tough because we are facing invisible enemies who are so jealous that through baptism we got these doors to heaven open, and they will do everything to stop us. We have to be vigilant and to practice and to stand up, not to give up easily. If we learn this lesson, those fatigues will go down. If we learn what we are supposed to do, there will be less of these difficulties caused in body. So let's try to carefully watch and test everything that is going on in our life. Try to be wise and ask God for wisdom. May we are able to recognize what is natural and what is coming from activity of the evil one. Amen.